Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to an episode of No, Not Luke Says, Hawaiian Shirts and Video Games. It's basically where I'm going to talk about video games, I'm going to do a review, but I'm also going to talk about the implications, the social things of games surrounding, binding, penetrating video games. So what I want out of this new series basically is because I'm an editor, you know, I edit videos for money. That's what I do. You know, I work. I do things too. I love making YouTube videos, and frankly, I just can't spare the time editing these massive videos that I edit with all like sometimes effects. I figured that I'm going to do something a little bit more simple, off the cuff. Haven't even written anything down. That's a lie. I haven't. I'm basically just going to talk about something and see where it goes and edit in little clips, make it nice and simple for myself. So today, we're going to focus on something, it's one of my favorite games, pretty much ever, HuniePop. Bet you didn't expect that.
I'll tell you what, if you're lucky, maybe we can go get high sometime. You down?
A while ago, I did a review for Pirate Radio Podcast, which unfortunately isn't around anymore, but I still have the article, and I'll put it in the description. Maybe I can put it all in the description. That'll be a long description, I guess. Well, basically, what it is, it's a mesh of a dating simulator, which is I have played very few of those, to be fair, and I think a lot of people probably have, and a puzzle game. So I first played it with my girlfriend. We played it together. I figured it's going to be really weird and stupid, and I'm going to do a review of it, and I'll play it and see if it's any good. We'll play it together, and we made fun of it. We made fun of it non-stop, but then I went home and tried it myself, and I actually really liked it. It's really weird. It's like the weirdest turnaround I've ever had in my life. So in HuniePop, you play this unnamed nerd. You can be like a male or a female nerd. It could be either. Doesn't really matter. And this lady, or this love fairy called Q, spelt Kyu, I'm assuming it's pronounced Q.
If you can't tell by now, I'm a fairy. Well, a love fairy to be exact.
She comes and basically helps you pick up girls, pretty much what it is. That's the whole point of the game, is to seduce and sleep with every single girl in the town, which apparently there's only like 9 or 10, which pretty small town, especially a town with a university.
I teach up at UOG. You know the place? It's like the only university in the city for some reason.
As you'd expect, the main point of the game basically revolves around the puzzle section of the game, but it's weird because it's like strangely intermingled with the dating simulator part of the game, and they're both equally good in my opinion. Now, I don't know if you've played a dating simulator before, but basically what you do is you like level up your stats and talk to people, but it's not really like that in this game. You basically talk to people and you earn, there's two currencies in the game, there's honey and there's money, which, I don't know why it couldn't be two things that didn't sound like basically the same, but with the different first letter. It could have been like, what about honey and pop? That's in the title. Why does it have to be honey and money? You earn honey by talking to girls.
What's your favorite part of the female body? Yeah, I had to figure it like that.
And you ask them questions about themselves, and you have to remember all of what they say, and you have to basically recite it back to them once you've asked them enough things, because they won't accept, asking the same thing twice. And you earn honey, and honey gives you basically multipliers for the the puzzle section of the game. You've got the dating simulator mode, but you've also got the puzzle mode, and it's basically like not Connect 4, like a Bejeweled kind of clone, where you have a bunch of different colored and shaped like tokens, and you got to match 3 of them basically.
The orange ones represent romance, blue is talent, green is flirtation, and red is sexuality.
And each character, each girl will have one of the colors that they like the most, and it just makes sense to match those, and they've got one they don't like, and you only get like half points or something for them.
Pay attention to which trait your date prefers. It'll go a long way.
But you've only got a certain amount of turns to complete the date, otherwise you fail. So it can be really tense, and there's some really interesting strategy that goes into it. For example, in the dating mode, if you give them gifts that they want, they'll give you like gifts that you can give them in the puzzle mode. So And because they all like their, separate like colored like tokens, if you say that you want to give like the flirtation, which is I think the green one, if you give you can get an item that if you give it to the girl will give like more flirtation and stuff. So you can like inventory manage before you go into the puzzles, and it'll make it a bit easier. It's interesting because it all joins together. It's awesome. Like when you get this flow going where you winning dates, and then you get lots of money that you can give to the girls and give them food, which makes them like you can talk to a girl for longer if you give them food, which I don't know why you got to give them food. What are they, a freaking goldfish? But you can give them food and you can talk to them for longer, and then you'll get more like of the honey stuff, which means you can upgrade the like what you're getting for each like colored item, and because of that you can win the date, and it's just this awesome flow. And if you just keep winning, it's great. It's awesome because you keep progressing. It just feels really balanced, which is it's a term that I wouldn't think that I'd be using for like a puzzle dating game. Balanced. That's really weird. Except for the harder difficulty, which gets really hard. Like it all feels like really doable, even though it is quite a. You have to do well. You have to have a strategy. You can't just go, I'm gonna move these pieces and stuff. It just doesn't work. If you know what you're doing, it's awesome. As I said, there's like 9 or 10 characters, and they're all like archetypes. But unlike regular kind of dating simulators where you just have to like be I'm the cool guy. I have like a car and a house and stuff, and I'm cool. No, rather than that, what you actually do is you basically have to understand their character, and you have to say what they want to hear.
This is a tough approach. She's kind of in a shitty mood, so say something stupid to try and cheer her up.
No, I like the birds.
I don't think I've ever really seen that done before, where rather than actually having a character that you have to fill, you have to adapt to the extra characters. Speaking of the characters, I think they're all pretty good. They're all like archetypes, like standard, like stereotypical archetypes of characters.
Whoa, is this chick serious? That schoolgirl uniform is a little on the nose, don't you think?
But they're all done pretty well. I mean, like, I think you have to understand the context that they're behind. Like, they're kind of trying to be like these standard anime archetypes, but they're just done pretty well. You know what I mean?
Who, me? Oh no, I'm so not cute.
And like, you go from like a high school student, and then all the way to like a porn star and stuff as well. It's like this pretty crazy, like, diverse, like, cast of characters that you've got.
Baby, I'm curious. How often do you watch porn?
In my opinion, I think the best thing in this game, by far, is the voice acting. I couldn't believe it when I first heard it.
Don't you recognize this adorable face? It's Kiyu from the bar.
When I actually went and like listened to the voice acting, it's phenomenal. It's great voice acting. And they put their like 110% effort into the voice acting. Like there's this one like gym junkie like girl, and basically every time she sees you, she'll be like, ah! It's just like over the top. It's awesome.
OMG! I've done a couple of local commercials, but I never thought I'd be recognized!
Like, you can really feel the emotion, for lack of a better term. On top of that, the music is freaking great. It's all really good. I could probably put it on like my iPod, or I don't have an iPod, but my MP3 player, and listen to it. Some of it, maybe. I don't think there's any tracks that I didn't really like, and it all really adds to the atmosphere. The thing is that when you've got like a simple idea, like a puzzle platform, a puzzle like dating simulator, you're not really like a person running around. The world isn't going to provide the atmosphere, it's the music. And I think that the developers really took that to heart and made some fantastic sounding music. So I also want to talk about the graphics of the game, which is really weird because you don't really think of like a puzzle like dating simulator to have good graphics. And I'm not just talking about the graphics of the ladies either, I'm talking about the graphics of like the way that it's set out. It all looks really good. It looks like it looks like computerized kind of. You've got the honeybee, which is basically the thing that lets you jump from girl to girl and see all the stats and see what they like and buy them food and stuff. But also there's like this weird parallax thing that happens when you move your mouse. Like the character and the background move in a way that kind of makes it look like you're turning your head. Like when you play around with your iPhone and it moves around, kind of does that. It's really weird. I really like it. I can imagine it being a distraction on other games, but it actually works really well on that. It gives it a depth, for lack of a better word, a little bit of depth that you wouldn't normally get. I think it's cool. I think the only downsides of this game is, like I said, the difficulty can be a bit crazy at times if you set it to the max, but also the dialogue is a bit lacking sometimes. It's all really generic, and when you take it for the context of, it's trying to be a bit generic, it's really good, but then you get repeats, which isn't so good. Like some of the dialogue repeats if you listen to it, like if you talk to the same person over and over again, that's not very good. But before then it's great. So it just means you've been playing for a long time, and that happens in games, But it's gotten to the part of this video where we're going to talk about social issues. Ooh. Actually, we're not. I'm lying. I'm just going to talk about implications for this game. As you may know, ever since this game came out, and I'm not saying it's because of this game, but it might be, the Steam has basically been inundated with like kind of semi-pornographic games, which this game is. You gotta sleep with the girls, and then at the end you get a picture of them naked and with various things happening to them. Just saying, just a warning before you play it. If you're into that, it is a surprisingly good motivator to get to the end, but it also works really well on its own, so take it at that. But because of that, there have been a few of those on Steam, and it's really weird because on the one hand, they're like not great games, all of these other ones, but on the other hand, Steam is a really, really tight platform to get onto, or it was for a long time. But now that they're actually opening up the floodgates, even though you've got a lot of bad stuff, there's also a lot of good stuff which is coming on. Like, think of games like Unepic and Space Pirates and Zombies, I think it was called. Those games didn't get on Steam for ages, and they were really good games. And like, they didn't get the exposure. They were great games, they had the quality that Steam wants, but they just didn't have the exposure, or the developers weren't known enough, really. But now that they've kind of opened the gates, and HuniePop was like basically one of the first games that came on, now you've got like a bunch of good games that are really coming into the platform, and I think it's great. So that's pretty much it. That's it. I'm done with Hawaiian shirts and video games. So I'm going to rate this now, and I rate it 9 busty anime girls in Hawaiian shirts out of 10. Not a perfect score, but I think it's really good. It's a really good experience. Go into it expecting an experience, expecting something that you got to work at a little bit, but ultimately it takes the base of the genres of dating simulator and puzzle games, and basically makes it better than you'd expect. It's not the best game ever, but it's probably one of the best in the genres. It does a really good job of boosting what you'd expect. So that's pretty much it. Thanks a lot for watching. Let me know what you think of this new series thing. It's probably a bit slower than all of the other videos, but leave a comment down below. Okay, I'm gonna go now. See ya. Okay, so maybe that doesn't work for you. Maybe you had too good of a sleep, and now your muscles are more floppy than a hardware store in 1990. Maybe you're the kind of person who would rather warm up their intellect first. Whether it's tic-tac-toe or something more difficult that I just can't think of, sometimes a good brain juice extracting game is the best remedy to sleepiness, and my choice of game is HuniePop. You know what? This game raises more than just your consciousness, if you know what I'm saying. Your blood pressure. Jesus, this game is so hard.